Becky. I've got my Mickey earrings on and my Mickey necklace, and I am talking all things Disney today. If I seem a little frazzled, it's because I have made probably 6 videos today. I just finished working on my series for the Moms with Mouse Ears channel. Those are going to be going up on May 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, so definitely check out the Moms with Mouse Ears channel. I'll link them down below if you're interested in how to make Disney World an educational experience without ruining the fun. I've been to Disney World pretty much every year since I was 9 or 10. I missed a couple years when I was pregnant, and then we would wait till our girls were 2 before we started taking them. So we'd miss a couple years here and there. But for the most part, I've gone every year. And there's a couple things that we've learned through the years to always take with us before we go to save money and to be a big lifesaver in the end. This is my Disney packing essentials and things to buy before you leave video. So the first thing I think is a really fun idea for kids is to give them their own disposable camera, or if you have kids that maybe are a little bit older, let them take a more inexpensive digital camera. But to really see Disney from their perspective, we would do this for our kids when they were younger, and we would start out with disposable cameras, and we would label the bottom with their names. That way there was no arguing over whose camera was whose. But just to let them take pictures of whatever they thought was interesting, and it was funny, we would get like from their eye level of what their eye level view of Disney, which was really cute and fun. And that's just a really cute little suggestion. You can get disposable cameras pretty inexpensively, and it was just a really fun thing that I think I treasure those pictures because that is what they actually saw in their perspective of Disney World. But personal fans and stroller fans. So each of our kids actually have one of these little personal fans that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond, and they have a little rope you can strap around their neck. That's come in really handy. We also have one that clips onto the stroller. I mean, I don't know how we ever went to Disney World without some kind of a fan. I have links down below for all these things. If I can find a link, I'll put it down below. And if I get it at the store, like those fans, I'll mention where I got it from, so maybe you can find them too. Also really highly recommend some kind of a filtered water bottle. We have the Brita ones for kids, and it's just like a squeezy bottle, but it's got a filter built into the nozzle, and so it filters the water. That way, if you're, you don't want to buy bottled water, you can just fill it up at the fountain. And make sure you're getting some better quality filtered water. So that's always a good option to have. Of course, labeled at the bottom because both of our kids have the same bottle, but we didn't want to get them mixed up, so we just put their names in the bottom, and it stayed on just fine through washings, and that way they can have filtered water to drink while you're out in the park. Also, earplugs for anybody that might be wanting to do some work at night. Like if you're in the hotel and our kids have already fallen asleep, like my husband and I always bring our earbuds to watch YouTube, or he plays on his iPad or whatever, just so you don't disturb everybody else. But that's something that I didn't bring one year, and I really wish that I had them. So that's a good thing to bring with you. And also kind of along the lines of ear protection would be, sound muffling ear protection for anybody that might be afraid of fireworks or anything like that. So I've got a link for those down below, especially younger kids that tend to be afraid of some of the fireworks. Those are always nice to have on hand in case. That way you can still enjoy the show and not have to like stay way back, but not have a kid that's scared to death of fireworks. Also, always take a Ziploc bag with me to put the hotel remote in. I mean, you don't know the kinds of germs that are on that thing, and I know some people think that's funny, but they were talking about hotel remotes are like one of the dirtiest things in a hotel. And so I just drop it straight in the Ziploc bag, and that way we can change channels without having to worry about whatever is on that remote. We also always take trash bags in the car. We drive to Disney now, so we always bring trash bags or like empty grocery bags you can take and keep in the glove compartment, and that way if there's a mess you can just bag it up, and next time you stop to get gas, just pitch it out. So that's always been nice to have with us in the car. Some kind of a stain stick, and also I usually buy the little travel Tide package. You could also maybe fill up a squeezy bottle with Tide or whatever your detergent is. That way if there's a spill or somebody gets sick or you have a stain when you get back to the hotel, you can always wash it out in the sink. And let me tell you, that has come in very handy because most hotels do have some kind of a laundromat situation, but it's always nice to have just your own little Tide. You can wash it out in the sink, even for bathing suits and things like that, because you never know when you're going to need to wash something. We also take our own bath mat with us. I started doing that when my youngest was taking like a sit-down bath, and I didn't want her sitting in the hotel tub. Even though I wipe it out when we get to the hotel with like a Clorox wipe, I didn't want her sitting on the tub. And also a lot of times the hotel tubs are slippery, so just get you a little inexpensive bath mat at the dollar store or Walmart or wherever. And we use the same one year to year. When we get home, I just bleach it and get it nice and clean and roll it up, and we take it with us every year. And along the lines of that, we take Clorox wipes and or Lysol spray. That way when we get to the hotel, I wipe down the phones and the toilet and the tub. I know people are going to say that I'm overkill, and that's okay. This is just what I choose to do. But definitely bring Clorox wipes with you. I carry them with me all the time in my purse, even here at home. I use them to wipe the tables at restaurants if they're not clean. We have used them to wipe high chairs and strollers and whatever else. Also, it might be not a bad idea to bring a flashlight with you at the hotel and leave it next to the bed, because sometimes you don't want to leave on the bathroom light all night. And definitely not the overhead light, but you're not, you're in an unfamiliar situation. You need a flashlight where you can see. So just a small flashlight might be something good to take. And baby wipes, even if you have older kids, they're always nice for cleanups, for wiping faces, just freshening up. So maybe a pack of baby wipes to bring with you in the car or in your day pack if you're going to the park. I don't leave the house without Tums, Pepto pills, and Tylenol. Those are the 3 things I carry in my purse all the time, and I definitely don't want to forget them on vacation, so I bring them in our day pack, and then I also pack extras. That way if we run out, I can refill it every night when we go back to the hotel. SPF hats, which I just did a video about that, which are like these. They have like the sun protection built into them. This is the Tuga brand. I will link that video down below. You can watch the video and kind of get more information, and then some links where you can purchase those hats. They're really awesome. And also quarters and pennies for the press machines. If you get to Disney World and you notice that there's a lot of like the penny press machines, and my daughters like to collect those, and you can actually purchase like a little portfolio at the gift shops there where you can store all the little pennies once they've been pressed. But you're going to need pennies, you're going to need quarters. I think it costs $1 or $1.50 to press a penny, which is kind of ironic, but you can get all different characters that it will actually like press into the back. So don't forget quarters and pennies. Ponchos, you always want to bring your own ponchos. We went one year and didn't bring ponchos, and we had to pay $20 for 3 ponchos from Disney. So we buy them at the Dollar Tree or wherever inexpensively before we leave, and we buy an extra one for the stroller. I know you can buy actually stroller poncho type things, covers. But we just buy, 4, 1 for each of us, and then 1 for the stroller, and then they're from the Dollar Tree, so we throw them away when we're done, because it's not worth trying to like air them out and flatten them out and get them back home, because they always mildew. So don't leave home without ponchos. If you drive to Disney, make sure you have toll change, because there's quite a few toll roads you'll have to go through once you get to Florida, and you'll need some quarters for that. We always bring glow sticks and bubble wands and just any kind of a thing that a kid is going to want to play with, either the bubbles for daytime when it's boring and they're waiting in line, or glow sticks for nighttime. I'll have a separate video about that, of things that we're taking in our day pack, and we keep that in there, and that way when nighttime comes they have a variety of glow things that I'll pull out, and that really helps to minimize them begging for all the things you're going to see being sold on the street. We've bought those things before, and I'm not going to say we won't ever again, but they're really expensive, and if you buy those like every night or every trip or whatever, it really adds up. So we bring our own stuff, and for the most part our kids do not really beg for any of that stuff anymore. It'd also be a good idea, if you have kids that are used to listening to kind of relaxing music at bedtime, to make sure that's loaded onto your phone or your iPod before you go, and that way you can still play the same music for them at night, to make their bedtime experience away from home as much like home as possible. So like a favorite animal they're used to, a favorite blanket, the same music. Try to keep their nighttime routine as consistent as you can, as much like home, and it makes it a lot easier when they're trying to sleep in kind of an unfamiliar place. Kind of the same thing with a bedtime book. I usually bring a bedtime book, and I'll pick one that has a couple stories, like 5 or 6 stories. You can get those multi-book type things. And I'll just bring one book, and that way I still read them a story at bedtime, and it keeps our routine as consistent and much like home as possible. Make sure you bring wet ones. Again, I carry wet ones in my purse at home, and we definitely take a lot on vacation. I take the canisters, which we sit in the cup holder of the stroller when we're at the park, and then I keep the individually wrapped ones in our day pack. So like if we're at a restaurant and the stroller's not nearby, or if we're not able to go wash our hands, we'll use the wet wipes to wipe our hands. So definitely bring lots of those. Not also a bad idea to bring robes, like their little bath robes, if you have, because sometimes it gets chilly in the hotel room. If they get out of the tub or shower and they're kind of cold, bring their robes. If they have a little hood, along with them, that has helped us a lot to keep them warm. Because you've got a lot of people usually in one room, and it's like one person's hot, so the air conditioner's turned up really high, and the other people are cold because they just got out of the shower. So we usually bring robes and our own bedroom slippers from home, that they can wear around the room and not be cold. We bring our own hair dryer, because the ones in the hotel are usually like the weakest, most pitiful little hair dryers you've ever seen. So we bring our own hair dryer from home. If you're planning on doing the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique for your daughters, then I would recommend bringing your own dress from home. Even if you have to purchase it at the Disney store or somewhere before you go to Disney World, if you wait till you get to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and you purchase a dress at the gift shop or at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, how many times can I say that? It's quite a bit more expensive. If you don't know what the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is, I hate to say it again, you go there and your kids, like, you buy these packages and they do like hair and makeup and glitter and nails and princess dresses and all this stuff, and it can get extremely expensive. And right now, to my knowledge, the cheapest plan they have is $60, and that's just for hair, makeup, and nails. It does not, and a sash. It does not include a dress. So if you add a dress to that, you're looking to at least another $50 or more in just a dress. So we usually will bring our own dress, and that's perfectly fine. Other people do that too. And that way when you get there, they already have a dress to wear, they get their hair and their makeup and their nails done, and then they have a dress. If you have a child that's in a stroller and you're bringing your own stroller, you can actually buy these things called UV sunshades, and so they hook onto the canopy of the existing stroller canopy, and it adds a longer protection of sun protection, and then it does have like a UPF factor, so like an SPF factor built into the fabric, kind of like the sun hats I mentioned, that keeps the sun from shining in on the kids in the stroller. One thing we also are bringing is library DVDs. Planning to do a video about the things we're going to take in the car, and so you'll probably see those mentioned in that video as well. But we always bring our own videos from home, either ones we already have, or I'll buy a couple new ones. But I used to buy a lot of new ones, and that got really expensive, and if they didn't like the movie, then we would have a movie they don't even like. So over the years, I've learned to use the library, rent a bunch of DVDs before we leave, like as close to before we leave as possible. It gives them access to a lot more videos that I normally wouldn't be able to purchase that many, and still gives them new things to watch, like if you have a DVD player in the car or something like that. Utilize the library for books and books on tape or DVDs to use on your trip to Disney. Another thing to remember to purchase ideally before you go to Disney is an autograph book. You can get them at Disney, and they're really pretty, and they're very expensive. So a lot of times you can find them on Amazon. I've actually got a link to one down below that I have found, and I purchased my daughter's autograph books from Amazon as well. They're a lot cheaper, and it's a lot better than waiting to get to Disney and spending $14 for an autograph book. If you have younger kids, I would definitely also recommend some sort of a travel potty situation, whether that be one to leave in the car that you just kind of empty out. That has actually saved us before, is having that in the car. Especially when my youngest daughter was still, like, she was potty trained, but it was early on, and I didn't want to have to like take her into all these gas stations and truck stops and try to like hold her, you know. So we would bring her little potty in the car and then just kind of clean it out, and that worked out really well. Also, there's options you can get, like toilet seat liners you can purchase that are disposable. You can just throw them away. You can also get like the fold out travel potty seat if the kids are afraid of like the big toilet seat. You can buy those. We found ours at Walmart, I think. And then also I would recommend bringing Post-it notes with you, and that way when you're in the restrooms, a lot of those automatic flushing toilets scare kids to death. And so you can cover up the little sensor with a piece of, like a Post-it note, or you can wrap toilet paper over it. That I would recommend. Those toilets there, some of them are very loud, and there's a lot of them going off at once, and it's kind of overwhelming for young kids that are like early on potty training kind of ages. So those are kind of my recommendations for that. It might not be a bad idea to bring like a fold-up step stool for the hotel. I noticed a couple years ago with my youngest daughter, she couldn't reach the sink in the hotel. It was hard to keep, every time she needed to go wash her hands or brush her teeth or do anything, you had to go and like hold her up over the sink. She couldn't reach it. So just like a fold-up cheap little stool, throw it in the trunk or wherever, the bottom of a suitcase, and then when you get to the hotel, keep it over there. They can actually climb up and wash their own hands and do their own thing and still be able to reach the sink. Like extra blankets for the hotel. They never have enough blankets there, or they tuck them in so far under the bed that you're like trying to pull them up and you can't get them up by your shoulders. So extra blankets. And then I actually bring my old hospital pillow that they gave me after I had my girls. Like they gave you like the little half pillow. I bring that in the car, and it fits perfectly under my neck. And both of my kids actually have little animal neck pillows that wraps around their neck. And that way when they're sitting in their seat, if they've kind of fallen asleep in the back, they have, you know, something to protect their neck and keep their head from like flopping over. So those are nice to bring. Oh, don't forget tweezers and nail clippers. Those are big ones. Chargers for the phones. Everybody always thinks about that. But don't forget about if you have a sonic toothbrush, bring the charger for that. Any kind of electric razor, iPods, iPads, Clarisonics, anything like that. Just remember to bring all the chargers for those. Memory cards, of course, and then extra batteries. We bring a lot of the kids like handheld game systems. Some of them charge by like the cigarette lighter, but a lot of them use batteries. So like some of the cameras use batteries. The personal fans that I mentioned, they have a battery. So I always put new batteries in everything before we leave, and then keep some extra batteries in our day pack and our suitcases so that we can change the batteries out as needed. Those are my recommendations for things to remember to pack for Disney World. Some of them are just kind of reminders, and some of them are new products that maybe you did not think of to use that might make your trip more enjoyable and leisurely, especially if you have kids. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know some of the things that you take with you to Disney World in the comments below. Let me know some things that you take that have been helpful for you, and let me know if you like this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.